Hello one, hello all. We're good. It is the most rageous ghost of them all, Caspa in the flesh, and it's time for a review of Yeat-AftërLyfe. Yeat is a LA rage rapper, and this is his third studio album. And I'm gonna cut to the chase here. Yeat has never been one of my favorites in terms of rap music, in terms of music in general. But I did find certain elements of his music, certain pieces of his music I could take away from, be it the psychedelic nature of his production, be it his energy, but pretty much it just stopped there. And I felt like his last mixtape that he put out didn't really do too much for me. There were some bangers on there, but I do feel like it pretty much lacked the vocal performance that I would have wanted, the energy, the eccentricity I would get from a Playboi Carti, who, let's be honest here, has dominated in the rage field when it comes to rapping, especially with Dial-It. Good album. But here, I feel like Yeat has summoned this spirit that has taken over him, and in the afterlife he has come back and he has just gone completely off the deep end here. He has reached new heights, grabbed onto new elements, and I dig it. Even with production choices too, Type of Money is pretty much on the nose, but the enjoyment just really boils down to the harmonization and how he treats the vocals. He treats them like an instrument, with these pitch auto tunes, creating this really ethereal synth tone. And I feel like when it comes to the duds here, there are duds here. There are. But mostly it boils down to how I got this shot of just otherworldly experiences and bizarre oddities, and then I just get a very basic by the numbers rage track to follow up with that. Or not really rage at all, just merely just background noise. And it's a shame too. But that's not to say that there aren't unique vocals on the tracks that I wouldn't consider a favorite. Like the track Schmunk with NBA Youngboy, where he's doing these motorboat type vocals, brrr, the chilliness, the bruh of the vocals, it just really stands out to me. And as the album continues, you start to hear more and more stuff, but we'll get into that later. Also, another thing too is he has this alter ego named Cranky, who's not a very compelling or convincing alter ego. He just kind of sounds like a more aggressive, but not too aggressive version of him. It just sounds like Yeat when he's mad, in opposed to actually playing like an alter ego. So it doesn't really leave too much of an impression on me when it comes to the duality thing, unfortunately. And also, I would have loved if the production switched up where it's him, or just something that differentiates him from Cranky. Now, the song No More Talk, though, we're getting to the highlights now, has these futuristic bassy synth chords that have this dark atmospheric feel to them, and it just feels like I'm on a rave ship on Mars, and we're provided with these weepy harmonies where Yeat does high pitched unhinged ad-lib, stretching across the track, going, yeah. Like, it's pretty much like like if you were to harmonize, like a door opening, but like the door is like haunted by Yeat's spirit, and the cracking is like Yeat talking to you from the afterlife. It's just like so pained, it's so emotive, and I love it, honestly. And I feel like the otherworldly feel, like you've entered into another world, like it definitely sets the tone for the album. And I do love the cycling haunted synth arpeggios on here. So yeah, I feel like this really does come together as the base for the album. And then we get like an electro funk cut on here, which I was not expecting, called None ID Change, and probably has the most standout production and hook on here with its warbly analog synth bass. Like I said, it's like an electro funk track from the 80s. That's what it's giving, with a steady groove just strutting across the track with these layered hums that have this chipmunk-like cadence to it, but you could tell there's also some bass to it too. So there's like layers to it. And like a clang distant drums. And the whole vibe kind of reminds me of Gorillaz with what they were doing on Plastic Beach. And I feel it definitely adds to the versatility of the album. And the song Slamm has a terrorizing feel to it. With a lot of aggressive, gruff mantras on here, with a refrain of slam. Like the pulsing dark synths makes it feel like there's like this cyborg roaming around. Like he's become this cyborg and he's just roaming around, like hunting for survivors after the town has been in retreat from like nuclear destruction or something. And the machine gun fire really adds to the whole apocalyptic feel. Like, it kind of reminds me of like a trappish hip hop version of what was off Downward Spiral, the 9 Inch Nails album. I'm sorry, 9 Inch Nails Downward Spiral album. Classic album. Check that out so you know what I'm talking about. Seven Nights like is another highlight for me. It has these nocturnal synths, and it's so dark and psychedelic in a very entrancing way. And it's one of the most extremely psychedelic moments on the album. And it's actually overwhelming, to be honest. How it go with Yeat just doing this really quirky vocal style on here in these squeezed, pinched to mumbled vocals. Like, he's really pulling out the stops here. He's really pulling out the stops with these sinister digital organ chords. It like feels like a video game. Like, it's like we've reached the video game portion of the album, and it definitely rivals like what Playboi Carti was doing on A Whole Lotta Red. And one line that stuck out to me, and not in a good way, was I keep stacking bills like I'm Cosby. Probably not the guy you want to mention in like a positive light on your album. Just saying. But other than that, it's pretty much a banger. Some To Do has these rambling, whiny, high-pitched, speedy triplet flows where it just sounds like he's absolutely losing it on track. Like he's going absolutely manic on this track. And I'm sure for the people who are familiar with my critiques, they'll probably say, well, Cass, he's not really rapping about much of anything on here. He doesn't really have too much substance. So why are you praising this album? Meh. It's pretty much down to, like I said, the unique vocals. He's adding something to it. For what he lacks in conceptual ideas and lyrics, he's making up for with his vocals, with the production, just adding a lot of variation to it. Like, sometimes you don't really have to be deep. you could just make it fun and just have fun with the production and just like perform, make the performance entertaining, which I feel Yeat is doing on here. He's doing a damn good job at it. As the album goes, he just pulls out the most oddest vocal inflections throughout here. It's just like, just when you think he's reached the limit of absurdity, he just comes at you with something totally left field. Like with these yelpy, moany vocals provided by a squeal, and I kid you not, as he just exhales on the track. Like he's really pushing the vocal envelope here for rage rap, which I think other rage rappers should really take note of, because he's absolutely killing it and giving it so much speed, so much flow, and providing passion with it too. Like, and it sounds like it's all in one take due to the fact that he's just taking breaths in between, breathing in and out. Like he's really, really destroying himself on this track. And I hope he's okay. And on Heavyweight, we get these like reversed hypnotic synth chords with these melodically howled ad-libs. Like just ascending through the hook. The song Shhh has these wailing synths, grimy bass, where he pretty much goes in like me against the world mode here. He's not really fucking with anybody, and he's just a man on a mission just doing what he has to do. The song Back Home probably has the most serene feel to it that I've ever heard Yeat do. Pretty much kind of complements the closer on this, because that pretty much reaches a level of serenity too. It's just a different instrumentation here. Like the layered chipmunk harmonization just feels like I'm floating. Like it definitely feels very Afterlife-ish. So as this album gets crazier and crazier and we go to the ending, which is more serene, it makes me feel like he went through hell, kind of, and then now he's in heaven, I suppose. Well, that is one critique I have of this, because I do feel like it's spotty. It doesn't really lead me to the conclusion that the afterlife was like this cycle. Like the message isn't very clear there. However, with the exciting vocal variations, the catchy hooks, the melodies, the production choices, I feel like it somewhat makes up for it. So I don't think this is a perfect album. It's not going to make my year-end list, but it is definitely the best thing Yeat has offered so far, in my opinion. And for rage rap in general. Like, I wouldn't say it's as great as Dial It, but it's getting there. He is getting there. So with that being said, I am feeling 3.5 black hearts on this album. Yeah. If you've given this a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? And that's it. Yeat, Afterlife, Caspa, Gothic Ghost. Till we meet again.